My 42 wife, 42, jokingly told me she'd like it if I wasn't there during the day. We've been married forever and we're talking about her neighbor friend who doesn't like that her husband works from home now and liked when he had an office. Under her breath she said she'd like that too and smiled. I know she likes her space, but it strikes me as sort of mean. I understand we all have thoughts like that occasionally. But verbalizing it is different. There's other family-related stuff going on that makes that especially insensitive to me. I just shut down after that. What's an appropriate reaction, if any? I appreciate all your responses. I clean less when my husband is home. I DK what it is. I also have a harder time planning my day. Do you work from home too? Might be time to talk about how to get your own alone time from each other. It's a healthy thing to have in a relationship. My husband works from home, and before we moved in together, I said one of my biggest fears was that I would never be alone again. Even if he's working, he's still home and can walk around whenever he wants. It's not the same as being home by yourself. I love him, but also I love having time to myself. I also think not verbalizing that would be more detrimental to our relationship than making my needs known. If this is a hypothetical situation, as in you don't work from home, I would disregard otherwise have an open conversation about what that situation would look like for both of you. You're entitled to your feelings. But this doesn't seem like an insult. I'm a person that prefers to be home alone a lot too. Some people are just built like that, and she was just commiserating with a friend in a similar situation. Definitely mention it to her if you were hurt. But it seems like she is saying, I like being alone too, and you're hearing, I don't like being around op. Maybe partially playing devil's advocate here. If your wife truly meant what she said, I can see her side of things. I am under the assumption your wife is a stay-at-home mom, wife if you do have kids, possibly elementary school, middle school ages. For me, I love my alone time. In fact, I need it to be in a healthy mental state. The only way I can fully recharge is by being by myself, even if I'm just doing chores or whatnot. There's a feeling of relief when I'm completely by myself, because I don't have to worry about how what I'm doing is going to impact the other person in terms of noise and whatnot. I'm assuming you have business calls and meetings. I'm a SOM and my husband works shift work. I said the same thing a little bit ago about how I wish he was gone longer or more days than he is. But then when he does work longer days, I'm always asking if he's getting off early. I'm sure she didn't mean it offensively, but maybe she just doesn't know how good she has it. Of course I'd love it if he was home more. In the moment, probably no reaction is the best reaction. At night when you talk to one another, if that is your routine, I'd ask her if what she said under her breath was her honest feeling, because to me, if it is, that matters. And if it isn't, then that was a joke in poor taste. I love my husband. Also, being together 24/7 is my nightmare. From your comments, it sounds like you're home way more than you used to be. She probably would like it if you went back to the office and she had more space and alone time. That's not personal. It doesn't mean she doesn't like you. It means she's a normal human who likes space and differentiation and not being stuck in the same house with another human constantly. It feels sensitive to be sensitive about it, because it's such a common and widespread experience. And if you're having other issues, and she also feels trapped, then it seems pretty natural to be extra irritated by the constant close quarters. I dunno, this just seems like a no-brainer for a LTR. It's good to have alone time. But she could also leave the house. Alone time doesn't mean you leaving every day for an extended period of time. I know a lot of stay-at-home spouses that are now annoyed that their significant other is working at home and cutting into their home alone time. Know who never gets home alone time? The one going to the office every day. There's nothing mean about it. It sounds like she needs more space and personal time during the day, which is a really healthy thing for any relationship. It's not an attack on you. It's something she needs. From reading your replies, it seems like you spend the vast majority of your time together, but that you think that's normal. Maybe think of ways you can give her space during the day. Not every day, but certainly much more than at the moment. Both you and your wife WFH, right? What are your jobs? What does working from home look like for you versus what does it look like for her? Do you respect each other's WFH boundaries? Work styles? Need for space? I have my own biz and I've worked from home for 8 years now. When I first started WFH, if my husband was also home, he would interrupt me multiple times a day. Some days, he would interrupt me almost every hour. And it would be for stupid stuff. Look at this meme. What do you want for dinner? Quote, asked at 11 a.m. Just read this article on my fav sports team, or whatever. Meanwhile, I'm self-employed. I need to be productive and finish projects in order to get paid. And every time my concentration is interrupted, it could take me 10 minutes to get back on task. Imagine that happening every hour or so. So I bring it up to my husband and he's all butthurt. You don't want to talk to me? Sad puppy dog eyes. I finally said, look, when you are at work, I respect that you need to work. How would you feel if I called or texted multiple times a day demanding your attention? And then I got upset if you didn't immediately respond? You would be pissed. Give me the same respect. And part of the problem was that my husband is an extrovert and has always had jobs with a lot of talking to customers and coworkers, and to him, a quick 2 minutes conversation was no big deal. But my job is put my head down and focus type work, and those interruptions were really difficult for me. My point is, are you treating your wife how she would like to be treated? Respecting her work needs, style? Or are you treating her based on your work style? There is such a thing as too much togetherness. And it's not mean of your wife to acknowledge that she needs space. It's probably not personal. Especially if you are an extrovert and she is an introvert. There's probably only so much interaction and conversation she can take before she needs time alone to recharge. It is just how our introvert minds work. Now I could be misreading your situation and maybe your wife is being mean about it. I dunno. My advice: have a direct conversation with her. No accusations. No blaming. Just, I heard what you said about liking it better if I didn't WFH and I'm concerned. What is making you feel that way? Quote, listen to what she says and then hopefully both of you can make some adjustments so you are both happy. Maybe she just needs to know that she can take a few hours to herself without feeling guilty. Good luck. It seems like a perfectly reasonable thing to say to me. Alone time is nice. And there's nothing wrong with saying so. Even in joke form. It's not really about not wanting you there. It's about wanting the opportunity for alone time. When was the last time either of you had a few hours alone in the house? I try and ignore it. I'm a teacher and I often feel the same way about my wife during the summer. Too much time cooped up can be hard on couples. There was a massive rise in divorce and domestic abuse during the COVID lockdown. If you're feeling some kind of way, just tell her, hey, I heard you say X the other day, and it made me feel bad. Can we talk about it? She probably just misses having her own space and was lashing out. Does your wife have the ability to go somewhere else if she wants some alone time? The best solution is to always ask, what do you mean? And let her talk it out to you. She could be saying she wants me time, which is perfectly reasonable. Ask her what she means. You shut down? And then come here to ask advice? Maybe that's why. Also, this is normal for married couples. I learned this acronym years ago, QTIP, quit taking it personally. Unfortunately, it took me a few years to start applying it. It's not about you. It's about her and what she needs to re-energize. I've been applying QTIP to all my relationships. Even outside family and friends, like a colleague who's grumpy or a random person who cuts me off driving. It's not about me. It's about them and whatever they've got going on. Once you lift yourself of the burden of thinking it has something to do with you, you'll feel a weight lifted off your back. I hope I explained this well. It can be hard to condense a topic like this. I'm with your wife on this one. Alone time is a key part of a healthy relationship. Everyone needs different degrees of it. Some people dislike being alone. Others crave some time alone in order to feel normal. I'm in the latter category, and I can tell you that if my husband and I both WFH, we would end up divorced. It's best to sit down and have a conversation about it, and work out some times when both of you can be at home alone. Because sometimes the other person being in another room just isn't enough. You want to be completely by yourself at home. When I started WFH, I heard the same. I pondered it, then came to the conclusion that if I had the house to myself all day, I'd probably also rather not have someone sat in front of a screen or on the phone getting on my tits by doing nothing to actually warrant it. 'Tis just life. Suck it up. Time to work on open communication. If this hit you out of nowhere, take the time and have a sit down and listen to what your so has to say. Really listen. It's hard on a marriage to keep feeling to yourself, and unless you share with the so, it will come out of nowhere.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. EdCarberry is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.